Hello everybody, welcome to Israel's Church of Living God. I'm Brother Rodney and Brother Caleb who will be reading today. Welcome everybody to the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement. I'm glad to see everybody come out. This is the Lord's Feast Day where we're supposed to come out and have a holy convocation. We're supposed to come out and have a holy convocation this night. We're supposed to fast, so if you are not sick and have to have medicine and everything, then you should be fasting this night. And fasting, we're going to see what fasting consists of. Fasting don't consist of you drinking water after 10 hours or so. That's not a fast, according to the Bible. So, we're going to get down into this lesson. I'm going to try not to make it a long, drawn-out lesson. So we're going to start, as always, in Leviticus 23rd chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Leviticus 23 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season.
He said, these are the feasts of the Lord. See, these are not feasts of men. These are the feasts of the Lord. He said, which you shall proclaim in their season. And this is the season for the Day of Atonement. So skip down to verse 26. Skip down to verse 26. And we're going to read it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
Now he said on the 10th day of the 7th month, you look at the lunar calendar, you will see that this is the beginning of the 10th day of the 7th month. Go ahead and read.
It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Now he said, it shall be a holy convocation unto you, a holy gathering, and you shall do what?
Afflict your souls.
Afflict your souls. What does he mean, afflict your souls? We're going to show you what he means by this, afflict your souls. Finish that.
28.
No. Finish.
And offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Now, so he said, you're supposed to afflict you're supposed to have a holy convocation, the 10th day of the 7th month. You're supposed to have a holy convocation. You're supposed to afflict your soul. Let's go to Isaiah 58 chapter. Let's see what he means by afflict your soul. Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Isaiah 58 and 3. We're going to see what he means by afflict your soul. When you get it, go ahead and read it. Isaiah 58 and 3.
Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not. Wherefore have we afflicted our soul?
Wherefore have we afflicted our soul? So he said, wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not. Because they fasted to the Lord, and the Lord not paying no attention to them. But he said, we have afflicted our souls. So that's what fasting, that's what afflicting your soul is. It's fasting. Of course, you know your soul is your body. Everybody knows that, right? Go ahead and read.
Where have we afflicted our soul? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast ye find pleasure, and exact all your labor.
See, behold, in the day you fast, because that's how you afflict your soul, by fasting. You exact your pleasures. Go ahead and read.
Exact all your labor. Behold, ye fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of the wickedness. Ye shall not fast as ye do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. Is it such a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul?
A day for a man to afflict his soul? Because that's what you do when you fast. I mean, that's what you do when you're afflicting your soul. You are supposed to be fasting. So over in Leviticus 23rd chapter, when he told you supposed to afflict your soul on the 10th day of the 7th month, you're supposed to be fasting this day. Finish that.
Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush? And to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this a fast, an acceptable day to the Lord.
Now, that's what it means when it says afflict your soul. You are supposed to fast. Let's go to Ezra, the 8th chapter. Ezra, the 8th chapter. Let's look at it again. Because, I know people tomorrow going to be saying, well, how do you know you're supposed to fast? It means afflict your soul. We're going to read it. So then you have to ask me. You go look at it on YouTube or whatever. You don't see me tomorrow. Ezra 8 and 17. Ezra 8 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
And I sent them with a commandment unto Idol, the chief at the place, Casaphia. And I told them what they should say unto Idol.
Skip down to verse, because we're just going to get to what we're looking for. Skip down to verse 21. Skip down to verse 21.
Then I proclaim a fast there at the river of Ahava, that we might afflict ourselves before our God.
See that? So he said, then I proclaim a fast there at the river of Ahava, that we might afflict ourselves. See? Same thing, right? Afflicting your soul means fasting. Finish that.
Yes, sir. That we might afflict ourselves before our God, to seek of him a right way for us.
Go ahead.
And for our little ones, and for all our substance. For I was ashamed to require of the king's band of soldiers and horses.
We're going to stop right there. So now we understand what afflict your soul. When he said afflict your souls on the 10th day of the 7th month, we know what he's talking about now, don't we? He wants us to fast this day. So now some people will say, well then, how do you supposed to fast? Because some people think that you can drink water after 10 hours. Or you can have some crackers after so many hours. You can have some crackers or whatever. Well, that's not how you fast according to the Bible. We're going to show you how you fast according to the Bible. Let's go to Esther now. Esther, the 4th chapter. Esther, the 4th chapter. Esther 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 15. Esther 4 and 15. Everybody got it?
Amen.
We're going to get through this night. Everybody just... Esther 4:15. Go ahead and read it.
Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me.
She said, go gather all the Jews that are in Shushan and do what? Fast for me. So now she's going to show you how you're supposed to fast. Go ahead and read.
And neither eat nor drink 3 days.
Now that's how you fast. You neither eat nor drink. Now you don't have to fast for 3 days now like they did, but I'm just saying. This is how you're supposed to fast though. You're neither supposed to eat nor drink. Read that again.
Yes, sir. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
Go ahead.
And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way, and did according to all that Esther had commanded him.
So she said, you neither eat nor drink. So this is how you're supposed to fast. Everybody understand that?
Amen.
So just best thing for you to do, just close your mouth. Just close your mouth. For that 10th day of the 7th month, just keep your mouth closed. That's how you fast. Neither eat nor drink. So next time somebody come to you and say, well, I'm fasting. Oh, you fasting? Yeah. But I'm going to eat something in 10 hours. We can eat and all. You can't eat nothing. You're not supposed to eat nor drink. Let's go to Leviticus, back to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Back to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And we're going to pick it back up at verse 27 again. Leviticus 23 and 27. Go ahead and read.
Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
There shall be a day of atonement. Go ahead and read.
It shall be a holy convocation unto you. And ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire to the Lord.
So now we understand now how to afflict our souls now, don't we? Go ahead and read.
28. And ye shall do no work in that same day. For it is the day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
Now he said you shall do no work in that same day. No work. Because you remember, sometimes you see a feast come up and they say you shall do no 7-hour work. But right here he said you shall do no work that day. For it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. Go ahead and read.
For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day,
the whatsoever soul it shall not fast that day. Go ahead and read.
He shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the soul, that same soul, will I destroy from among his people.
Ooh, you see how serious this is with God? He said, I'm going to destroy you from among the people. Go ahead and read.
Ye shall do no manner of work.
Look at that. No manner of work. Go ahead. He's serious about this one, he ain't.
Yes, sir.
He is real. He said no manner of work. Go ahead and read.
It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings.
For how long?
All.
Forever. This is for a statute forever throughout your generations and what? All your dwellings. Because you know you got some people say, well, we can't keep the feast because we ain't in the land. He said throughout your generations forever in all your dwellings, didn't he? And we are the children of Israel. And this is where we dwell. And that's why we here keeping the Day of Atonement. Because this is what God commanded us to do. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest.
This is a Sabbath? That's right. And it's a Sabbath of rest. Go ahead and read.
And ye shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even
From evening unto evening, go ahead.
Shall ye celebrate your Sabbath.
Shall you celebrate your Sabbath. Because the 9th day was ending and the 10th day is coming in now, right? So we got to go from evening to evening. So tomorrow evening, that's when this fast is over with. Everybody understand?
Amen.
So we can't be sneaking and getting nothing to drink. And I know ain't nobody here gonna do that. So he said, from evening to evening shall you celebrate your Sabbath. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 John, the 3rd chapter. Because I was going to give you the definition of atonement. Atonement is you making reconciliation back to God for the sins of a man. So in other words, some blood had to be shedded in order for your sins to be paid for. That's what making atonement means. Someone's sins being paid for. Now, so what is sin though? 1 John the 3rd chapter. What is sin? People already said it. We're going to read it anyway. 1 John 3 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is the transgression of the law. Now, you know, everybody has sinned. You know, I had a brother just the other night talking about somebody being perfect. You know, they never sinned. I'm like, well, show me. Only one that's been perfect has never sinned. And that is Jesus. Then I read him this, 1 Kings the 8th chapter. 1 Kings the 8th chapter. Because no man is without sin, all except Jesus. 1 Kings the 8th chapter, and we're going to read verse 46. 1 Kings 8 and 46. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not.
You see that? There is no man that sinneth not. There's no man. Do you understand what no man means? Especially at this time. No man that sinneth not. Go ahead and read.
For there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives into the land of the enemy.
So that's the,
far or near.
asking the Lord, he praying to the Lord about the children of Israel if they go into their enemy's land. But you see, he said, for there is no man that sinneth not, right? Let's go now. We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this. Now, we're going to start looking at the parallel of what this night is all about. So we're going to take you to the shadow of it first. Then we're going to show you the reality of it, of this night. Let's go now. Let's go, because we're going to come back to this. Let's go to Exodus, the 26th chapter. Exodus 26. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Exodus 26 and 1. Exodus 26 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacles with 10 curtains of fine twine linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of one curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits.
Go ahead.
And every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another.
Now we're looking at the curtain for the tabernacle. And I'm bringing you here for a reason. So everybody just calm down, just follow me, okay? Just chill out, just follow me. We're going now, skip down to verse 30. Skip down to verse 30. Go ahead and read. I'm showing you the tabernacle now. And I'm showing you this for a reason. 26 and 30. Go ahead and read it.
30. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twine linen of cunning work. With cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it.
That's the cherub angels. He says, shall it be made. But go ahead, verse 32.
And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim, shittim wood, overlaid with gold.
See, the Lord, he know how to hook his tabernacle up. You understand? This said we just looking at a tent.
Come on.
And he hooking it up, ain't he? Just imagine how the temple looked that Solomon built. This is a tent. He overlaid it with gold and silver and everything. Man, go ahead and read.
And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, upon the 4 sockets of silver.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt hang upon the veil under the tacks, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony.
The veil for the ark of the testimony. Go ahead and read.
And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy.
So the veil shall divide between you the holy place and the most holy place. You understand? You got the veil that's going to divide between the holy place and the most holy. This is where the Ark of the Covenant is going to sit, in the most holy place. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place.
And this mercy seat represents the Lord's presence. This mercy seat represents, he set this on top of the Ark of the Covenant, and this represents the Lord's presence.
Yes, sir.
Let's go now. Let's go to, because I'm going to show you what all this is pointing to. Let's go now. Let's go to Hebrews, the 9th chapter, because the writer over here told you about this. He's going to give you a little bit more. Hebrews, the 9th chapter. Although he's going to tell you, look, we cannot speak particularly about this part of this. But he's going to give you a little bit more, though, than what we just read. Hebrews 9 and 2. Hebrews 9 and 2. Go ahead and read it.
But there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was the candlestick.
Because remember, the veil divided from the holy to the most holy, right? So now you got the candlestick and the showbread in the holiest. And then you had the Ark of the Covenant with the mercy seat on top of it in the holies of holies, right? Go ahead and read.
For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was a candlestick, and the table, and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
See, I just came here because, Paul just, just laid it out for you a little bit. We could have went back in Exodus and read all this, but we don't want to be here all night. So we'll go ahead and read.
3. And after the second veil.
Now the second veil, go ahead and read.
The tabernacle which is called the holiest of all.
The tabernacle which is called what?
The holiest of all.
The holiest of all. That's where the Ark of the Covenant sit with the mercy seat on top of it. The holiest of all. Go ahead and read.
Which had the golden censer. And the Ark of the Covenant overlaid round about with gold. Wherein was the golden pot that had manna.
See, we didn't read that, did we? He said there's a golden pot that had manna. Go ahead.
And Aaron's rod that budded.
Go ahead.
And the tables of the covenant. And over it the cherubims of glory shadowing the mercy seat.
Now, keep reading.
Of which we cannot now speak particularly.
He said we cannot now speak particularly of. We don't know everything about this. This is what he's telling you. But he understood about the which had the golden censer and the Ark of the Covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was a golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the table of the covenant. He knew all of this though. Go ahead and read.
Verse 6. Now when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle.
Now he went always into the first tabernacle. Do what? Go ahead.
Accomplishing the service of God.
Accomplishing the service of God in the first part, in the holiest. Not the holies of holies, but in the holy. He went in there often. Go ahead and read.
But into the second went the high priest alone.
Now wait a minute now. He said, but into the second, the holiest of holies, went the high priest alone to do what?
Once every year. Not without blood.
Once every year, not without blood. So when he went into the tabernacle, the holiest of holies, he had blood with him once a year. Everybody keep that in mind. Once a year. Go ahead and finish that.
Once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people.
And for the errors of the people. Let's go now. Let's go. Because we're going to look at this a little bit. We're going to go to Leviticus, the 4th chapter. We're going to go to Leviticus, the 4th chapter, and see what they did when they offered up this blood for himself, the priest for himself, and for the people. What did he do when he done this? Let's go to Leviticus, the 4th chapter. Leviticus 4. Leviticus 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Leviticus 4 and 1. Everybody got it? Amen. Go ahead and read it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, if a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things.
You mean that's how you sin? When you break the commandments?
Yes, sir.
He said, to speak unto the children of Israel, said, if a soul sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord. Go ahead.
Concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people.
Wait a minute, you mean the priest sin too? That's right, because there ain't no man without sin, including the priest. Go ahead and read.
Then let him bring for his sin, which he hath sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord.
Go ahead.
And shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head and kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take up the bullock's blood and bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now he took this blood and he brought it to the tabernacle congregation, right? So now skip down to verse 27 and let's see what happened when the congregation, the whole congregation sinned. Verse 27, go ahead and read.
And if any of the common people sin through ignorance.
So see, you can sin through ignorance. You understand? Everybody sins. We probably sin every day. That's why it's good to pray every day, ask the Lord for forgiveness, because you probably done sinned without knowing it. But go ahead and read though.
And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, while doeth somewhat against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty.
See, just because you ignorant of it, you still guilty.
Yes, sir.
Before God. Just because you ignorant of it, you still guilty.
Teach.
Go ahead and read.
Or if his sin, which he had sinned, come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin which he hath sinned. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take up the blood thereof with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away from off the sacrifice of peace offering.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement for him.
Oh, wait a minute. So he took this blood and everything, he put it all on the altar and everything, and he did what? He made an atonement for the people. Go ahead and read.
And the priest shall make an atonement for him. And it shall be forgiven him.
And it shall be forgiven him. Because that's what the atonement is for. It's for you to be forgiven of your sins. But they took the blood to forgive you for your sins.
Yes, sir.
The blood of those animals. Everybody understand?
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Let's go now. Let's go to Leviticus, the 16th chapter. Let's go to Leviticus, the 16th chapter. Now look, this is the time of the Day of Atonement. Leviticus 16, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Now look at what happened on the Day of Atonement. Because remember, Aaron went into the holiest of holies. He went in there once a year to offer blood, didn't he?
Amen.
He met with the Lord on the Day of Atonement, offer up this blood. Now, we have Leviticus 16, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Leviticus 16 and 2. Go ahead and read it.
And the Lord said to Moses, speaking to Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat.
See, so now where's the mercy seat? The mercy seat is sitting in the holies of holies, right? Behind the veil. Go ahead and read. Say, don't tell them, don't come in here at all times. Lord was serious about this. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. The holy place within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he die not.
Whoa, wait a minute. That he die not. Because if he come in there any other time, then once a year on the Day of Atonement, the Lord would kill him on the spot. Now Aaron and his sons, the only ones, could go in behind the holies of holies. And when Aaron died, then the son that took over the high priest's position, he went into the holies of holies every year. Only Aaron and his sons could do this though. The high priest. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. That he die not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Thus shall Aaron come.
Because he said, I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Here's the Lord coming down once a year on this mercy seat. You understand? And then Aaron appears in there with the blood. He comes in there with the blood. Go ahead and read though.
Verse 3. Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering.
Go ahead.
He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeched upon his flesh, and shall be girded with the linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired.
Go ahead.
These are holy garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on.
Look, he couldn't even come in there with his clothes, just regular clothes on. He had to have on holy garments to come in the holiest of holies once a year on the Day of Atonement and offer up this blood. Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. And he shall take up the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of goats for a sin offering. And
2 kids of a goat for a sin offering.
And 1 ram for a burnt offering.
Go ahead.
And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself and make an atonement for himself and for his house.
See, now he had to make an atonement even for himself, didn't he? Go ahead and read.
And he shall take the 2 goats.
And he shall take the 2 goats.
And present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Go ahead.
And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats.
And he shall cast a lots upon these 2 goats. Why is he casting lots upon these 2 goats? Go ahead and read.
1 lot for the Lord. And the other lot for the scapegoat.
1 lot for the Lord and the other lot for a scapegoat. You know what a scapegoat is. You know, scapegoat means, you know, like you used to say, man, I'm not going to be a scapegoat for you. In other words, I'm not going to pay for the crime that you did. You understand? But this goat right here is going to pay for the sins of the people. He said, Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the scapegoat. So now this one is for the Lord. What you think going to happen to him? He's going to be a sin offering.
Indeed.
And the other one is going to be what? A scapegoat. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering.
Oh, so the one the lot that fell upon the goat for the Lord, that's the sin offering. Go ahead and read.
But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord.
Now, so this goat right here, he's going to stay alive before the Lord. The other first goat, though, is going to be a sin offering.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
To make an atonement with him, to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself.
Skip down to verse 14 and read.
14. And he shall take up the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times.
Now wait a minute. Now he said he's going to sprinkle this blood on the mercy seat. Well, where's the mercy seat at? The mercy seat is behind the holies of holies, right?
Yes, sir.
So now he's sprinkling his blood on the mercy seat. And he's doing this on the Day of Atonement. We're going, because you only can go in there once a year, right? Yeah. On the Day of Atonement. Go ahead and read.
15. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock.
Go ahead.
And sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat.
So now he took the blood of that bullock or that goat, that sin offering, and he took the blood of that goat and he sprinkled that on the mercy seat. So he went behind the Holy of the Holy and sprinkled it on the mercy seat. I'm saying this for a reason. Because all of this has a spiritual significance.
Come on, brother.
This got a spiritual significance. You know, the Lord didn't just have him doing all, taking his blood and sprinkling and everything, and taking this goat and this goat as scapegoat. He's not doing all this for nothing.
Teach.
This is a shadow of the reality that's to come. And I'm going to show you that reality that's to come. Go ahead and read though.
16. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place. Because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all their sins, and so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness.
Now he did this once a year, didn't he? So now once a year, your sins have to be forgiven you too, because you're not without sin. We're not without sin. So our sins have to be atoned for too.
Yes,
but we're going to show you though, the Lord already spilled his blood for us. But we still have to afflict our souls, though. We still got to afflict our souls. But go ahead and read, though. What verse you at?
17. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth into make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself, and for his household, and for all the congregation of Israel.
Go ahead.
And he shall go out unto the altar that is before the Lord, and make an atonement for it, and shall take up the blood of the bullock and the blood of the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar around about.
Go ahead. Now this is the sin offering. He's taking his blood and doing all this with. He done went behind the went behind the Holy of the Holies on the mercy seat, sprinkled the blood in there. Now he done come out of the Holy of Holies. Now he's still sprinkling his blood, ain't he? Go ahead and read.
And he shall sprinkle the blood upon it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it.
Go ahead.
And hallow it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel.
Why? Go ahead.
And when he have made an end of the reconciling of the holy place.
When he have made an end of reconciling of the holy place, because that's what he was doing when he making his atonement. He reconciling you back to God.
Hallelujah.
That's what he was doing. Reconciling, you paying that debt, that bullock, or those goats paid the debt for this man with their blood. And they didn't have no sin in them, did they?
Come on.
Go ahead and read.
And when he had made an end of the reconciling of the holy place in the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, he shall bring the live goat.
Now, he get ready to bring the live goat now. Because you know that scapegoat, that's the live goat. Go ahead and read.
21.
And
Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel.
And he gonna put his hands upon the head of that live goat and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Because this is the scapegoat right here. So he confessing the sins of the children of Israel on this scapegoat. Go ahead and read.
In all their transgressions, in all their sins, putting them upon the head of the goat.
Go ahead.
And shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness.
Oh, you see what he did with that scapegoat?
Yes, sir.
Confess all the sins of the people on that goat and then send them away in the wilderness by a fit man.
Yes, sir.
That's the scapegoat. He let them go in the wilderness. This has a spiritual significance to it.
Teach.
Verse 22, go ahead.
And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities unto a land not inhabited.
Now look, the goat is going to bear upon him all the iniquities of the children of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Into a land that's not inhabited. Go ahead.
And he shall let go the goat in the wilderness.
And he's going to let this goat go in the wilderness. So now you got a dead goat, right? A sin offering goat. And then you got a live goat with this scapegoat, right? Skip down to verse 29. Let's see what day he done this on. Go ahead.
And this shall be a statute forever unto you. That in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your soul.
You shall afflict your soul. So you can't forget about that part on this 10th day of the 7th month. You understand? This shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that on the 10th day of the 7th month, you shall afflict your soul. Go ahead.
And do no work at all. Whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourn the morning.
He said a stranger too, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to be a part of the household of God, you understand you a stranger, you got to afflict your soul too on this 10th day of the 7th month. And that's also the day that Aaron offered up this blood and this sacrificial goat, the sin offering goat, and the scapegoat. That was on the 10th day of the 7th month. He offered up the blood, then he confessed all the sins of the people on that scapegoat and let them go in the wilderness. Everybody understand me? We just really laying the groundwork for this. Because like I've been saying, this has a spiritual significance to it. Because let me show you what this blood does. Let's go to Leviticus, the 17th chapter. Leviticus 17 and 11. Read one verse, verse 11. What does this blood do? Go ahead.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your soul. For it is the blood that maketh atonement for a soul.
Oh, so the blood makes the atonement for the soul. So once the blood was shedded, then the sins of the people were forgiven then, weren't they? This is how he made the atonement with the blood. Let's look at that again. Let's go to Hebrews, the 9th chapter. We're going to read one verse again, verse 22. Hebrews 9 and 22. Let's read that again. Because, you know, people think things change once they get over to the Old Testament. I mean, to the New Testament, rather. Things change. But look at what what the writer going to tell you. I don't keep saying Paul, because some people say it's Paul, some people say it's not. So I just say the writer. Hebrews, the 9th chapter, and 22. Go ahead and read it. But you know, when you read Hebrews, it sounds just like Paul's writing. Once you start reading Hebrews, it sounds just like some of the things that he said. But anyway, Hebrews 9:22, what did he say?
And almost all things are by the law purged with blood.
All things by the law are purged with what?
Blood.
Blood. Because without the blood, go ahead.
And without shedding of the blood is no remission.
Without the shedding of blood, there's no remission. There's no forgiveness. Without blood.
Yes,
now,
sir.
we saw that in the old covenant, and now we see it under the new covenant, now don't we?
Indeed.
Let's go now. Let's go, because some blood had to be shed for man's sins. So blood had to be shed. Let's go to Psalms, the 40th chapter. Psalms 40. Everybody following along so far? Yeah. We just laid the groundwork. Now we're going to start looking at this, the parallel, the spiritual significance of this shedding of this blood and this atonement made by shedding this blood. We at Psalms, the 40th chapter. Psalms 40, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Psalms 40 and verse 6. Go ahead and read.
Sacrifice and offering thou dost not desire. Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offerings and sin offerings hast thou not required.
Now we know that the Lord did require the sin offering, didn't he? Because if you sin against the Lord by breaking the commandments, you had to go offer up them ghosts, didn't you? Go ahead and read.
Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book.
Now this is Jesus right here. He said, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book to do what?
It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy laws within my heart.
Now he said, I delight to do thy will, O God. Because that's why Jesus came. He came to do the will of the Father. He ain't come all willy-nilly doing what he want to do. No, he came to do the will of the Father. He said, I delight to do thy will, O God. Thy law is within my heart. Thy law is within my heart. You know, Jesus, he kept the law, didn't he?
Indeed.
It was in his heart. Let's go now. Let's go to Romans the 15th chapter. Romans 15. So he said he delight to do the will of God. Romans 15 and 1. Romans 15 and 1. Everybody just pay attention, because this night means something.
Hallelujah.
This night means something. All those sacrifices and the blood sprinkling and everything, that was pointing to something. And that was pointing to someone. Romans the 15th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Romans 15 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. And not to please ourselves.
Go ahead.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. For even Christ pleased not himself.
For even Christ pleased not himself. Go ahead.
But as it is written. The reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me.
Ooh. He said the reproaches of them that reproach thee, God, they fell on me.
Yes, sir.
So now he got to pay the debt for this man's sin. They sinned against the Father. So now Jesus said, I'm going to pay the debt for this man. The reproach of them that reproach thee have fallen upon me. You understand? He got to pay the bill for this man, for his sins. Let's go look at it again. Let's go to Psalms the 69th chapter. Psalm 69. Let's look at it again. Because he came to pay for the sins of this man. And we're going to see how he paid for the sins of this man. We have Psalm 69 and 8. Psalm 69 and 8. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children.
Go ahead. Well, he's still an alien to his mother's children. He's still alien, ain't he?
Come on.
Take him. Keep reading.
For the zeal of thine house have eaten me up. And the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee have fallen upon me. This is the Lord talking right here. Tell him, I got to pay the bill for this man. I got to pay for the sins of this man. They sinned against you, Father, but I got to pay for it. Go ahead and read some more.
When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting.
Well, see how he wept and chastened his soul?
Yes, sir.
With fasting. Because this is how you afflict your soul, ain't it?
Indeed.
With fasting.
Come on, brother.
Read that again.
When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting. That was to my reproach.
Go ahead.
I made sackcloth also by my garment. Also my garment, and I became a proverb to them.
So he said, the reproaches of them that reproach thee have fallen upon me. I got to pay for the sins of this man. Let's go to John, the 11th chapter. Because this guy right here, Caiaphas, he knew this. Caiaphas knew this. We're going to John 11 and 45. John 11 and 45. Now look at what Caiaphas said right here. So these Israelites, they didn't understand why Jesus had came. They didn't understand why he came. But Caiaphas is going to tell them. John 11 and 45, we ain't got long to go. Everybody hold your head up. It's going to be all right. John 45, John 11 and 45. John 11 and 45. Go ahead and read it.
Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their way to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees counsel and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And
but they said, this man, he doing a lot of miracles. That's what Pharisees said. If we leave him alone, then the people going to start following him. See, they didn't understand who they were dealing with.
Come on, brother.
They didn't understand that they were dealing with a sin offering. The God came down from heaven to save this man. They didn't understand this. Go ahead and read.
48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Go ahead.
And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same
So
year.
now this Caiaphas was a high priest. This Aaron's son right here.